And welcome in to the Fun Astrology Podcast. We are halfway through May, gang. It is Friday, TGI Friday, May 15th, and we have made it halfway through the month. We are celebrating today Jupiter in retrograde, which it will be until September 12th. So we left after just the preliminary introduction to this yesterday, saying that we would pick up today, and I'm going to make a great big confession right off the bat. I'm confused. I really don't know what to do with this one. It could be traditional, and what I'm going to do to cover the traditional ground is I'm going to put the link to Jamie Partridge's Astrology King blog on this retrograde 2020 in the show notes. So that will cover that piece because that's basically what he did, is just stayed pretty much with the traditional ground. This is one of the very few times that I might not agree with what that perspective is. And the reason why is what happens between now and September 12th, astrologically, by the way. What we're going to have between now and then are some pretty wonky, funky aspects going on in addition to what is happening in Capricorn. So the significance of this to me, here's the picture that I'm looking at. So the planets that caused the COVID-19 crisis are now all in retrograde. What it's starting to look like to me is that maybe that takes the foot off of the throat of the whole world. Maybe if you were using a driving analogy, you've let off the gas. Seems to be that might be what direction this takes. And maybe it does give us some time to catch our breath. That's the purpose of retrogrades anyway, astrologically. It's to stop moving forward so that we can look inward. So if you want to know if you have a retrograde planet in your natal chart, what's the purpose of that? A lifetime of reflection in that area. What's the purpose of retrogrades in transit, like we talk about here every day? Same thing. Time to stop, rest, breathe, and look inside. You know, it's when they say 2 steps forward, 1 step back, it's the 1 step back. And you know, a wise parent knows when their child is ready for something. Well, it's the same thing with the universe, right? It's kind of that last little check. Are you ready to move forward again in this area? What area? The area where these retrogrades are in your chart. And for all of us, that's happening in the sign of Capricorn. Now, that is for Pluto, Jupiter, and soon to be Saturn. Right now, Saturn is still over in Aquarius, 1 degree. And then the other one is Venus, and that's in Gemini. So where Gemini is in your chart, Capricorn is in your chart, and then you can go down the road of the elements and the qualities and all of that. I don't go that far in this podcast, but you certainly can and apply that to other things. But I just try to stay. There's so much right now going on with the main energies that gives us enough for our few minutes together. So the planets that basically caused the COVID crisis are now in retrograde. But they're all going to be reconjoining, if you will, not quite exact for Saturn and Pluto, but definitely exact 2 more times for Jupiter and Pluto. Saturn and Pluto get with about 2 degrees of each other before Saturn turns direct and then basically takes off to go pave the way for the dawning of the age of Aquarius, is basically what Saturn is going to do. But Jupiter and Pluto, they have a dance. So they are going to conjunct again in June and then again in November. That's cleaning up, like this energy around Saturn-Pluto, it's like it's cleaning up all of the residual elements. This is such a massive breakthrough that it's like everything just has to be wrung out. And that is enormous energy in the sign of Capricorn. Now, this is why I say I don't know what this retrograde Jupiter really looks like, because the end of June, Mars moves over into its home sign, Aries. And Aries will be in a sign-based square to Capricorn. Now, here's the thing about Mars moving into Aries. It moves in late June. While there, it goes retrograde, and by the time it goes retrograde and direct again, And then out of Aries, it does not leave Aries until early January 2021. So even though some of that time will be retrograde, we are going to have Mars fiery energy in the sign of Aries on top of all this other stuff. So I guess, in astrological terms, we would have hell on earth were it not for the fact that Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn were retrograde. Thank God they will be retrograde throughout that period, at least until the early part of the fall. And then astrologers are left scratching their chins because what we see between September and December is again ominous. Now, another thing we have to follow is the sun. So the sun right now, and as Jupiter began retrograde 2 days ago, it was in a beautiful trine with the sun in Taurus. The sun moves on, and it will be in an opposition to the sun when the sun ingresses into Cancer in June. So Jamie Partridge starts his article off by talking about this trine with the sun in Taurus right now. And I think that is great illumination to begin this retrograde. I just don't know that it's enough oomph to continue it. My gut says no, but we'll see what happens. So that's kind of the picture that we have. Really, the main focus of this is all eyes on Capricorn again, is kind of the short-term play. But since they're in retrograde, I'm really thinking we get a timeout here. So that is going to be oh so welcome. And yeah, maybe these opening ups that are starting to take place in various places, maybe that holds. Maybe there will be more relaxation, at least until the end of June, and then we'll have to deal with that fire on fire. So that's kind of what we got. I am doing a big major astrology reading over the weekend, and it's going to be a multi-day deal. So I will see you guys back again on Monday from the home studio, and we will pick it up there. Have a great one. Take care. Stay safe, primarily, and I will see you again on Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.